Have you ever noticed how obsessed we've become with happiness? Everywhere you look, there's someone promising a shortcut to joy. Self-help books guarantee lasting positivity. Podcasts reveal the secret to peak living. Influencers beam into our feeds with polished smiles, insisting that happiness is only one habit away. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The more we chase happiness, the more it slips through our fingers. And if that sounds strange, stay with me. Because by the end, you'll see why happiness, the very thing we crave most, might actually be sabotaging your life. Think about it. Why do people who seem to have everything, the dream job, the vacations, the comfort, still confess to feeling hollow? Why do celebrities surrounded by wealth spiral into despair? Why do we achieve what we thought would complete us, yet still wake up feeling strangely empty? Could it be that our culture has given us a broken map? A map that points to a destination that doesn't exist. Psychologists have a name for this cycle. They call it the hedonic treadmill. Picture yourself running toward happiness, convinced that if you just keep moving, you'll arrive. But the ground beneath you moves too. No matter how fast you run, the finish line keeps retreating. You catch a moment of joy, but it fades. Soon the hunger for more returns. More possessions, more achievements, more distractions. And here's the twist. Philosophy warned us about this centuries ago. Epicurus, the Stoics, even Buddhism, they all said the same thing. The endless pursuit of pleasure isn't freedom. It's another form of slavery. The chains just look shinier. But here's the strange part. If happiness is truly life's highest goal, why does it behave like a mirage? Always shimmering just ahead, but vanishing when we get close. That's the first crack in the story we've been sold. And if we follow it deeper, we uncover something even more unsettling. Think back to the last time you felt fully alive. Not just content, but alive. Chances are it wasn't a polished Instagram moment. Maybe it was a challenge that tested you, a heartbreak that cut deep, a messy, uncertain moment where, oddly enough, you felt more connected to life than during all those smiling photos combined. That's our first real clue. Philosophy suggests the trap isn't sadness or boredom. The trap is believing we shouldn't feel them. Our culture whispers that happiness is the natural state of being. If you're not cheerful, you're broken. But here's the paradox. When you demand constant happiness, every shadow of sadness feels like failure. You're not just sad, you're ashamed of being sad. You're not just lonely, you feel guilty for being lonely. So the prison isn't sadness itself. The prison is the refusal to allow sadness. Now imagine a world where every billboard, every ad, every influencer post is whispering, if you're not happy, you're broken. That's not imagination, that's reality. We live in a culture where constant positivity is sold as the standard. And whether we admit it or not, we've absorbed that message. But the philosophers knew better. They understood that life's richness doesn't come from eliminating discomfort, but from facing it, from letting struggle shape us, from allowing pain to teach us who we are. Still, the question remains, if happiness isn't something we can hold on to, then what is it? Why does it slip through our fingers so easily? Here's the secret most people never hear. Happiness is like water cupped in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it leaks away. Because happiness isn't something you can seize. It's a shadow cast by something deeper. Let's bring in a voice from history. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist imprisoned in Auschwitz, noticed something remarkable. Those who endured weren't the ones clinging to happiness. They were the ones who found meaning. Meaning didn't erase suffering. It didn't take away hunger or grief. But it gave suffering context, direction, even dignity. Frankl later wrote that happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue. It comes as the side effect of living a life that matters. And when you let that sink in, it flips our cultural script upside down. Instead of asking, "How can I be happy?" the deeper question becomes, "What am I willing to suffer for? What is heavy enough to give my life weight?" That's not the question culture wants us asking. It's easier to sell us new gadgets and quick-fix routines. But philosophy reminds us, a meaningful life often looks nothing like a happy one. It's filled with sacrifice, discipline, heartbreak. And yet, those very things are often the doorway to real joy. Aristotle had a word for this deeper fulfillment, eudaimonia, often mistranslated as happiness, but it's closer to flourishing, living in harmony with your virtues, your purpose, your deepest self. Here's the hard part. Flourishing doesn't always feel good. It demands effort. It requires discipline. It often feels like struggle. Think of an athlete training daily, muscles aching, lungs burning. In the moment, it doesn't feel like happiness. But in the long arc, it builds excellence. That's the difference. One is fleeting, dependent on mood. The other is a way of being. The Stoics said the good life isn't the easy life. It's a life of integrity in difficulty. Buddhism taught that suffering is unavoidable, but clinging to happiness multiplies the pain. So maybe our obsession with constant positivity is upside down. Because the very things we avoid, heartbreak, discipline, failure, may be the raw material of depth. So how do we escape this trap? First, stop treating sadness or boredom as enemies. They are not defects, they are signals. They point us to what matters, to what's missing. Second, pursue meaning, not moods. Instead of asking, "What will make me feel good right now?" ask, "What is worth the struggle, even when it hurts?" Third, allow happiness to arrive on its own, not as a demand, but as the echo of a meaningful life. Think of a musician, hours of frustration, repetition, and failure, none of it fun. But when the music finally emerges, the joy is deep, hard-won, authentic. That's the shape of true happiness, not instant, not constant, but forged through effort. Here's the paradox. Happiness is most reliable when it's not the goal. This doesn't mean pleasure is wrong. Epicurus himself delighted in simple joys, bread, water, friendship. But he warned, excess pleasure curdles into emptiness. That's why he believed the sweetest life was one of moderation and meaning. Think about your own life. How many times have you chased something? A purchase, a relationship, a victory, believing it would finally complete you. And how many times did the feeling fade, leaving you searching again? That's the trap, the endless treadmill. And yet philosophy gives us a way off of it by reminding us happiness is a shadow, not the substance. Meaning, not constant pleasure, is the foundation of a flourishing life. So here it is in plain terms. The hidden trap of constant happiness is that it makes us chase a ghost. We run after the shadow while ignoring the solid ground beneath our feet. Let's close the loop. Earlier, we pictured happiness as a golden cage, shining but confining. Here's the truth. The lock was never real. The door was always open. The prison was the belief that life without constant joy had no value. But philosophy offers a different vision. Meaning makes space for sadness, for struggle, without letting those things destroy us. We don't escape by forcing ourselves to smile. We escape by daring to live fully, even when it hurts. And when we do that, happiness returns, not as a constant, but as sunlight breaking through clouds. Not perfect, not permanent, but real. That is the paradox. The less you demand happiness, the more freely it arrives.